Dude, so I want to play a new. I want to now. Maybe we can make this a recurring segment, but I saw this on social media the other day, and I'm like, this is too good. I got to tell Chad about this.
Let's hear
and then I thought, this is perfect for a game because you and I have done an episode about apologies.
Yes, we have.
And I have a new apology for you, and I would like to have Chad rate this apology.
Oh, I'm excited. Okay, let's do this.
So there was a baseball announcer. His name is Tom.
I heard about this, but I don't actually know what he said, so this will be good.
So his name is Tom with a TH, Thom Brenneman. And so apparently he was, I don't know if he got caught on a hot mic or something. I don't know how this manages to happen to so many people. But I don't know if he got caught on a hot mic or something. But they got a clip of him during some sort of broadcast saying the F word capital of the world. And by F word, he meant like gay people capital of the world. He was talking about some...
Oh, that F word. Yeah,
but I believe he said... People said... But when I heard it, it sounded like he said the F word capitals of the world. So I don't know if he was talking about DC because he was talking about like the capital... Oh, wait, no, that's Nationals. See, I don't even know. What's the Capitals? Isn't that a team? Did I just make that up? Is that a different sport?
Yeah, that's hockey, I think. That's hockey. Washington Capitals.
All right, well, I don't know why he said it. Let me not try to figure out why he said it.
Yeah, we might be here for a while if you try to do that, Jared.
We might have to rate my apology soon. No.
Right. Right.
So,
don't get us canceled here.
I mean, I could have just played it for you, but it's not really worth it. But anyway, that's what he said. He essentially said the F word capital of the world.
Okay.
And so he was then, a few days later, he was commenting on a baseball game. This was relatively recently, and he decided to apologize during the game. So let me just play it for you.
Like mid game.
Let me just play it for you and see what you think.
Yeah. Okay.
But some would say yes, mid game.
Myself and think of myself as a man of faith.
Oh, putting the religion card in it.
A deep left field by Castellanos. It will be a home run.
Wait, pause it. Hold up. This is hilarious. Hold up. This is hilarious, though. Let me just preface this.
Yes.
He's apologizing in mid-apology. He's like, and Castellanos hits it like into the outfield. That's going to be a home run. Like mid-apology, nonchalant.
I find myself to be a man of God. I usually don't step
and the shortstop catches it and he's out. You know what I mean? But
run.
Right.
Sorry for saying that. Oh man. Anyway, so let's keep going. Literally, that was 3 seconds into a 57-second apology.
Okay.
Myself and think of myself.
Sorry.
A man of faith. As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game. I don't know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again. I don't know if it's going to be for the Reds. I don't know if it's going to be for my bosses at Fox. I want to apologize for the people who signed my paycheck. For the Reds, for Fox Sports Ohio, for the people I work with, for anybody that I've offended here tonight. I can't begin to tell you how deeply sorry I am. That is not who I am. And never has been.
Is it?
And I'd like to think maybe I could have some people that could back that up. I am very, very sorry, and I beg for your forgiveness. Jim Day will take you the rest of the way home.
Interesting. All right, I want to give you my thoughts real quick, and then I would like to hear your thoughts too on this, Jared. Well, first of all, I think it's always telling when they say it's not really who I am. Mm-hmm. I feel like when you say that, I'm like, really? Because you kind of said
that's a classic right there.
You know, yeah. The man of God, man of faith, number one. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel like you shouldn't even have to say that if, I don't know. But, oh, man, that is just a hot mess on so many levels.
So how would you rate that as far as an apology goes?
It's not. I don't think it's very sincere, to be honest.
I love first of all the commentating. Like, oh, hold on, this is a home run. I got to mention this first, and then we'll get back to this. I mean, the man of God thing's classic. Mm-hmm. this is not who I am is classic. I bet you there are some people that could back that up as classic too, because it's like, first of all, it's like who? Just your friends?
Right.
They're like, oh, he's.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Go to your office and be like, yeah. So this is Jill, and she's been my assistant. She can back up that I'm a man of God.
It's like, do you have a? Well, I don't know. It's just like. It's
pretty
bad.
ridiculous.
And then also the fact that he starts his apology with apologizing to the people that signs his paycheck.
Yep. That's the first person you want to apologize to. Well, you pay me, so I need to apologize to you first. And then number 2, what was number 2? Was it even the people he offended?
No, I think it was his coworkers or something.
So not even, that's like what, number 3, 4, or 5 on his list somewhere?
First off is who pays my paycheck. That's the first problem here. I'm sorry for making you not want to give me a paycheck anymore.
You know what, Jared?
So instead a walk-off apology for Tom Brenneman.
I feel like there should be a business for people that like teach people how to apologize properly.
By the way, that shows you how boring baseball is. That you can manage to get that long of an apology in uninterrupted,
while you're commentating on the game. Well, it helped that Castellanos hit the home run.
That's true.
He was running the bases. Yeah. He was like, "Oh, perfect! He hit a home run. I'm just going to apologize real quick, and then we'll continue."
Yeah, he's like,
"This
is perfect timing, actually,"
which is kind of ridiculous and pretty funny.
It is. I mean, it's hilarious, but it's a terrible apology. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah,
but I do find it hilarious too. I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to say that's a bad apology.
Yeah, I would. How many stars out of 10, Jared?
I'd give it. I'd give it 4.
Oh, I was thinking 3 or 4. All right.
Yeah, because he didn't. Excuse me. Hold on 1 second. He didn't blame other people. That's another classic go-to one where it's like, well, this person, or it's
it'd be
like
for sure
or like
3 if he was blaming other people.
Like blaming like the sound person, like I didn't know the mic the mic was hot. Where it's like, oh, so it's only bad because we heard you.
Right. Exactly.
So that definitely I could have seen something that would have been said. Also, he didn't like say like the classic, like, I don't know, you can't say anything anymore kind of thing. It's like...
Right.
Or
everyone's so sensitive.
Yeah.
And they always get so offended. So
he didn't bring up,
anything.
like, cancel culture or anything like that. That would have really put it down into the 2 and 1 section.
Oh, definitely.
One, I think, is if he doubles down and, like, says it again. Like,
right.
Well, listen, it's like, it's just a normal word. And have you been to that city?
Right. I feel like you should make a good enough apology where you should only have to say it once.
What do you mean only have to say it once?
Like your apology, like this guy is probably going to have to follow up about this.
I mean, if he wants another job, it seems like it. He wasn't even confident that he'd have a job at the end of this game.
He was like, well, this might be the last time you hear me on the mic.
I might not even make it to the end of this game, bro.
Right. Well, I don't know. Games seem pretty slow. I mean,
baseball. Listen, as long as a baseball game is, it's very likely that midway they're like, listen, we got a replacement.
Right. That would be hilarious.
We got him COVID tested.
We interviewed him. Yeah, COVID tested him. He has a really good voice. We're gonna put him in at the 7th inning stretch.
Yes.
Bring in the reliever.
And then they just don't even mention it, and then there's just this new guy just talking.
Yep. All right. Well, we have Martinez coming up to the plate now, and oh man,
this guy sounds different.
That would be funny.
This guy doesn't seem as homophobic.
Right. He seems like he's actually kind of friendly. Maybe a nice guy.
I don't like this. I don't like this anymore.
Right. Oh man, that's crazy though. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Sports are just a wild thing, I think, right now, because so many people, other than like watching Netflix and stuff, there's not a lot of stuff going on. There's not like big concert events at a bunch of places. It's not.
I mean, it was the first thing. At least, I mean, definitely the first live form of entertainment. It feels like to come back since this thing has started. And by live form of entertainment, I mean sports, but also I mean like even like being able to see something live. So like go to a concert, go to a comedy show or something like that. Like this is the closest thing to live entertainment that we have. And obviously everyone loves sports for the most part. And I feel like people were starving for it. Like I told you, I might start watching NASCAR just because I'm like, I don't know. I got.
Are you going to go for Bubba?
Sure. Yeah.
I kind of like Bubba.
Sure.
He's a cool guy.
It seems like he's like a lower to middle field kind of guy. But I don't know how NASCAR works as far as the cars go. But really, skill is not fully related to where you're. At least in Formula One, skill is not fully related to like where you're landing on the grid. Only because
It's a lot up to
like
chance a little bit, right? Like,
no, it's money. So like Mercedes is
okay.
usually in the front because they have by far the biggest budget,
Right.
and they just Lewis Hamilton's the best, but they also just have like the best car
Equipment,
there.
yeah, makes a
like
difference.
Red Bull has
Right.
tends and Ferrari tend to have like the second, and they tend to battle for like the second best car, and that usually is always the case because they tend to always have the most money. So I don't know if NASCAR's like that, but I'd be willing to check it out. So yeah, people are starving for sports, dude.
Even baseball, maybe. I wonder if the viewership of baseball has
that's
gone up.
interesting.
I wonder.
Baseball's so boring. I never gave any sort of consideration. Well,
Did you ever play baseball though?
no, I played T-ball.
Okay.
So I stopped before I got into the real thing.
That's
but
fair.
When I was like a kid, yeah, I
That's
played
fair.
T-ball for a few years.
Okay.
And it was fine. The only thing that made me mad about it was that because we were young, they didn't really like score it properly. So like, if I were to like get a kid
Smack
out,
a home run. Oh, okay.
they wouldn't just like be like that kid's out. They'd maybe still let them like run the base, and I'd be like, hey, they're out, and they're like, I know, and I'm like, this is stupid.
That's true.
It's like,
Well, that's why you got to stay on longer,
was-
so it's legit baseball.
I guess so. But I don't think it was the baseball I needed. I just needed competition, I think is really what it was.
Yeah, it's hard to play sports, I think, without some level of competition. I would agree with you.
I mean, I guess as a kid that grew up maybe at the very beginning of the participation era, or at least talk
Right.
the talk about it. I mean, I don't care, to be honest with you. But I guess as a kid, I did. It clearly would bother me as a kid.
Right. Well, yeah, you want to win.
It's funny that I don't care now that maybe it's because I don't compete anymore.
Right.
But when I was a kid, I was like, what do you mean? I definitely just got this person out, so this person needs to.
Yeah, they need to get
and
go on the
like they
bench,
would have like
yeah.
just got off the bench and they got their first chance to actually play. It's like, all right, no, get sit back down.
That's
and
how
so they don't want to do
baseball
that to
works, though.
kids.
Yeah, but that's
and
how
so
baseball
I'm like,
works.
what are you doing? You're out.
Right. Do you think also your competitiveness came from having an older sibling? Like, did you ever compete with your sister at all or no?
Oh, of course, yeah. But I mean, I don't remember. The thing is, I just don't have like my memory's probably not good enough to have a chicken or the egg on like what was it my sister, me like competing with my sister at a young age that made me competitive, or did I have that in me all the time and I just used her as a conduit, or should we use each other as a conduit for competition?
Right. It's
So
probably that, to be honest.
because maybe she's competitive too, so maybe it's more that because she's competitive. Yeah, so maybe yeah. I don't know. I never really thought about it.
I think it's more fun to play sports with people who are competitive. At least for me, I remember when you would come visit me in East Lansing and we would play soccer. I always liked having you on my team because we were both trying to win. Some people are trying to mess around, and sure, I'm out there to have fun, but trying to put that ball in the net.
Yeah, the fun part for me is scoring on you.
right. Well, see, that's why when some people, when I was younger, they would come over and play table tennis with me. I'm not trying to sound like a jerk right now, but I didn't want to play with them.
That would always bother me, only because I never had anywhere of a chance to. I never had any table tennis skill, so me knowing how good you were and just watching you take it easy on people would always annoy me. And then you'd hear people like brag about like how like, oh, I played against Chad and I almost beat him, and I was like, yeah, Chad was half asleep and playing with his weak hand the whole time.
Yeah. And it's not, and trust me, there are plenty of people that are a lot better than me, but just your typical.
I just was around that a lot because we were around just your average frat kid that has a broken table to play with.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing though, I guess, because for me, when I played table tennis when I was younger, it was a very competitive thing. Mm-hmm. And so if I play someone who's actually decent, that side will come out of me a little bit.
But you always just play to the person's level, it feels like. Like I don't think I've ever seen you just go at someone,
That's because
just be like, listen, I'm not interested in. I don't know. I feel like people's trash talk would I'd get annoying to me, and I'd just be like, listen, you just have to humble people. I want to humble people all the time.
I guess I would, but the thing is too I've done it before, and you don't really get that much.
It doesn't
joy
feel
out
good.
Of it. No, it really doesn't.
Dude, I actually gotta get that. I'm not any sort of sports expert in any case, but I definitely kind of understand that.
Like I would be willing to bet you the Bayern Barcelona game 8-2 score. I'm willing to bet you some of them felt bad.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it comes to a point where it's a comfortable lead, and then it's just like too much.
I mean, I've played soccer before, and I've definitely been in games where that's happened, where you either way, whether you're the winner or the loser, you're just like, this is like stupid now.
Right. Well, the funny thing is when my nephews were younger and they would come over here and we would play table tennis. They are both very competitive little guys, and they'll talk some shit. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
They will. And they'll say, oh, well, whoever beats Uncle Chad, goes next. And I'm like, all right. And I have put them in their place a couple times.
Now that you say it that way, I have a little cousin. He's like 6 years younger than me, and I used to go to their house in Texas over the summer all the time.
Some shit too.
Yeah, and he's a super sporty kid, and so we would play, everything like soccer, basketball, and I'm not a great at basketball, but like I was bigger than him.
It's a big advantage in basketball.
So like there would be points where like you're right. It's not fun to humble people because they would always, no joke, anytime I did.
You ever just block him and just like,
yeah. Well, because when he would talk shit like that, that's exactly what I would do. I'd be like, I'm going easy on you, bro.
Right.
And it's like, but it would always end in fighting. Because
really?
I mean, I would be six. I would be like, this would be when I was in high school.
16,
I'm 16. 10. He's 10. 15 and 9. Like these ages.
He's probably getting really.
And he's good, like with his friends. Like he's one of the better players.
Sure.
And so like he gets humbled by someone that's just not even maybe better than him, just bigger than him.
but you need that when you play sports.
And I'm like, bro, you need to shut up, like because this is ridiculous. And then it always ended us fighting and him telling on me to his mom, and I'd be like, he was talking shit. I don't know what you want me to do. Like, I think he brought this on himself.
You were doing the right thing, in my opinion. Right. He was doing the wrong thing, and you were doing the right thing. I mean, that's the thing is that especially when you're a kid and you play sports, and you're one of the better ones in your friend group, you can definitely get egotistical.
Sure.
And sometimes it's good to play someone that's better than you and knock you down a couple pegs.
Yeah, you have to. You have to. That's how you get better, is by playing people better than you, I'd say.
And I have to say, though, I'm willing to bet a couple more years from now, both of my nephews will be way better than me at soccer.
Yeah.
Like,
for sure. For sure. For sure. I mean, you're still.
I know that day is going to come.
You're
eventually.
still like in the close stages of still just being bigger than them generally.
Yep.
But that's it. But they have much better stamina than you.
Yep.
And they play way more than you do.
Yep.
So it's only a matter of time.
Accurate at this point too. Exactly.
Probably. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, with all the training and everything. Oh,
I think we're okay.
We are good.
It's really bothering me. Did you name this episode the wrong number or something? It says 225 down there. What's happening down there? No, it's fine.
What? That is weird.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Do you want to? Do you have?
Oh, you know what it was? That was the last episode we recorded on this bad boy.
Gotcha.
It's the same settings.
Gotcha.
That's probably what it is.
Do you
have some shoutouts?
Yeah,
I think I do. Let me open up this bad boy.
Sorry, I forgot that was put up the full blast because that guy's apology was so quiet.
Oh, that's right. Well, probably for good reason. His apology was that quiet, Jared. I would say.
No, that's too quiet. Sound check.
We gotta
spread a little love. There we go.
All right. 1 second here. My shout out. All right. Yes. So this is kind of an interesting one, Jared. I don't know if you've known this, but one, I want to give a shout out to all of the different places that are offering like virtual tours right now. And one that's been a big one lately has actually been aquariums. Aquariums have been doing webcam visits amid, the shutdowns for COVID. And I think this is an awesome idea. I don't know about you, but I've been to, the Chicago Aquarium, which is amazing. And it's really cool to just see, all these different fish and different stuff.
It's been a long time since I've been to an aquarium. Yeah. But it's a very peaceful thing, weirdly. And then they always have that music in the background.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That very like you're in some sort of water wonderland music that's slightly in the background.
Well, and the other thing is I wonder if some of these like webcam things could be a way for some of these places that have been shut down for a long time to maybe somehow make some revenue.
Yeah, and they could do like a virtual field trip maybe. So maybe they can like specifically book time for schools. And they can like have someone go on maybe a more curated sort of like tour of the whole place and actually have someone walking through and giving the tour to these kids or something. So I'm sure there's ways they can monetize it.
Oh, yeah.
But that's cool. I love that. I actually I've been watching some virtual tours recently. Just over the past week, I've been getting into some of them. I saw one. I've been seeing some, and I've been getting into like these. There's so many European countries where it's like. Honestly, doesn't even cross my mind, and I'm like, this place is gorgeous. Now, I honestly, to the point where I need to go pull up my history to even remember what they were. But I've been seeing some crazy ones, and like Serbia and Montenegro apparently has some beautiful, like landscape and like here they are. Oh, Sarajevo was one I saw. Bat-Yam, Israel, that was a cool one. This is probably about to make some noise, and I'm going to stop it. There we go. Ibiza, Spain. I've been enjoying that.
Nice.
I've been really getting into that.
Yeah, the virtual tours are just really nice.
Yeah.
You know, I've checked out a few different ones online, and I perused a little bit with the aquarium, and this one is the one in Monterey in California, and it's really, really something to just see. Like,
Yeah, I mean, look at that. Look at that shot right there, and I bet you they have good tech. I bet you.
I'm sure they do.
I kind of want to even say that like saying webcams is kind of not doing it justice because it's probably not someone like holding up their laptop,
right,
pointing it at.
That would be hilarious. maybe like 10, 15 years ago, that's what.
And
they
all
were
you're
doing,
seeing is just like a reflection of them, and but yeah, and I'm sure they probably have some cameras like inside the actual tanks.
And so this is what's cool though, Jared. They have something right now called where was it here? It was called meditations, like meditation in ocean.
I like that.
Yeah. Meditations is a series of guided meditations of soothing footage of jellyfish or breaking waves. So just imagine that, Jared. You're trying to meditate. You have like the fish going like that.
Yeah, I would like that. I like that. I'm going to look into this.
Yep.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, so check that out. I do have one more shout out though.
Okay.
This one is just such an awesome one. There has been a stranger, they still don't know who this is, but one citizen of Santiago, Chile, has been disguised and dressed up as Batman giving meals to the homeless during the coronavirus pandemic. I think this is awesome.
Why does he have to be dressed up as Batman?
Because he doesn't want people to know who it is.
I understand.
You know? And I feel like Batman, I mean, look, man, if I was doing charitable work and I didn't want people to know who I am, I feel like Batman's a good go-to.
Yeah, I don't like the Spider-Man one. That suit's kind of, I don't want to say revealing, but
it's a little revealing. You could say it's revealing.
And Spider-Man's also kind of played out because he also got all those stupid dance videos with the Spider-Man.
True.
I guess so. I mean, it's nice what the person's doing,
right.
but just in my head, I'm like, I mean, you don't really need to wear the Batman costume, but I bet it's fun.
Right.
I bet you this
I
person
feel like it'd be fun.
is just like a big nerd, and they're like a good person. They're like, oh, finally, like just trying to find an excuse to get to use that Batman costume. Like, oh, this is perfect. I can save the world. I am Batman. Do you want to hear? Do you want to do some untranslatables?
Let's do it.
I am Batman.
Let's do it. Yeah, the first one I will start with. Well, first of all, untranslatables are idioms, phrases, axioms, adverbs, proverbs that cannot be easily translated into English on a one-to-one basis. But we do make it look very easy for all of you listening out there because we are licensed professionals at Untranslatables.
That's true.
And I will get us started today, Jared, with a Norwegian one. And it is a snakkaret fra leveren, which means
I like
to
how that
speak
sounds.
directly from the liver.
To say it with your chest is what we would say here.
Which means what?
Is to say it like you mean it. Like say it confidently, essentially. Speak up if you have something to say.
Yeah, I think it just means say something directly.
Okay.
You know, so not confidently, but directly.
Say it with intent.
Right.
Yeah.
Like don't like.
But I think that does require confidence.
I mean,
you
it
don't
does.
Think so?
It does.
I think you can hear someone's lack of confidence in their voice sometimes.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, but I hear what you're saying. My first one is Japanese, and it's Hopeta ga ochiru. Your cheeks are falling off.
Your cheeks are falling off. Is that when you're really tired?
No.
Okay.
Your cheeks are falling
Your
off.
cheeks are falling off.
I'll give you a clue. I have once taught you an untranslatable in a different language that has the same meaning.
That really narrows it down here, Jared. We're on episode 228.
Oh.
And we've done how many untranslatables now?
Yeah, but this is one I think you'd remember.
Okay, your cheeks.
I thought you've known this pre-podcast.
Is it a German one?
No, it's an English one.
It's not slipping on gator piss, is it?
No, but it's from where that region. Even though we made that up.
It's,
so this one's from
southern,
Michigan.
but it's southern.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your cheeks are falling off. What happens? Maybe if something's touching your cheeks and they start falling off.
It's tender. Something's tasty,
and when something's there, you
delicious.
go. There
really,
you go.
your cheeks are falling off.
Yes.
It's tasty. Okay.
My cheeks are falling off.
You put your foot in it, right? Isn't that what they say down south?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I do remember. You're right. Okay, you're right.
But that's a pre-podcast untranslatable.
That's a good one.
That's what started the pod right there.
Right. There's a good one. All right, my next one for you is Malaysian, and it is yum cha. And yum cha.
You said that. Is that how you say it? Malaysian?
Malaysian.
Oh,
yeah.
I say Malaysian. You say like Malaysian. Did you know
Malaysian?
Yeah, okay.
Malaysian. I
Malaysian. All right, sorry.
Who knows?
It's weird
Malaysian.
emphasis.
Can I
Emphasis.
add the emphasis at the very end? Malaysian. Anyways, this one is Malaysian. Yum cha, which means drink tea.
Ooh, so I see.
It's not like ours.
I was about
like
to say
sips tea. It's not
okay,
like that.
okay. Because I was gonna say that is what I
no.
told Amarenz is just go with your gut, and that's
Right.
immediately what I would think
Right.
of. Drink tea. Would it be like to take time to reflect or slow down or
No, it's more like hey, let's go drink tea.
Oh! It's just like it's like how we would say, let's get a drink,
Let's go chill. Yeah, let's go hang out.
get a beer, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Crack open a cold one. You know?
Crack. Yeah, like my grandparents would say.
That's
crack.
right.
My next one is Scottish, English, obviously, but Scottish. And I guess I got to sort of say
Scottish.
Didn't it teach you, the granny, to suck eggs?
Did they teach your granny to suck eggs?
Don't teach.
Don't teach
someone some. Oh yeah, don't teach your granny to suck eggs. Excuse me. Yeah.
What?
I almost just read the actual thing.
Oh man.
Don't teach your granny to suck eggs.
I don't even know where to begin with this
That
one.
teach you. I don't know how to do. I almost sounded
Don't
like.
teach your granny to suck eggs.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Is that close? I don't
Yeah,
know
that's
if
pretty
it's close.
Parada.
Very good.
Give me a clue, because I really have no idea.
So maybe let's say this. Well, you and I. So I have my car there. That's a manual, and you and I are driving. You and I are going somewhere, and I stall out, and at a light or something, and you're like, "Oh, what you got to do is make sure you have enough gas before you put the clutch up."
Well, obviously, Jared. Clearly.
And I'd be like, "Hey, don't teach you to granny to suck eggs."
Like, don't tell me what to do.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Essentially.
Okay.
But it's more like don't. It's not.
Like, don't disrespect your granny. Right?
Don't teach me something I already know how to do. Is essentially
Right.
what it's like. Don't. Yeah.
Right.
It's like don't
Yeah,
tell
that
me how to
makes
do this
sense.
because I know how to do it.
Makes sense. All right.
Yeah.
My last one for you is Egyptian Arabic, and it is Hawa anta mandach rehet aldam.
Okay.
Do you not even have the smell of blood?
Is it someone that's like new, like a sort of new, like a novice at something, or like new at a job, or
No. Say, for example, Jared, we're kicking the soccer ball around together, or the old football, as our British buddies would say, or Scottish lads.
yeah.
And we're kicking the soccer ball around, and per usual, you come up and slide tackle me, and you foul me, and you scrape up my shin really bad because you got new cleats
That would
with the
be so
metal
funny
spikes,
if it was just
and
like
I
the
just
two of
have
us, too.
blood just going out everywhere, and I'm like,
Yeah.
call an ambulance, Jared, and you're just juggling the soccer ball, and I'm like, don't you have the smell of blood?
Is like, don't you see there's something go wrong here? Because it's not like don't you have any like sympathy or empathy or whatever?
Yeah, you're actually.
Huh.
Well, yeah. So it basically.
Or are you not
means-
concerned? Like, do you not realize there's something wrong here?
I mean, kind of. It basically just means, are you really that heartless?
Oh, okay.
Like it,
Because when
to-
I hear
to smell
don't you have the
blood,
smell
yeah.
of blood, it's like, don't you realize, like almost don't you see that something is happening here that needs to be addressed and you're not addressing it, you know?
right. Yeah. But according to Egyptians, yeah, someone who doesn't have That's the weird thing, though. It says, "Do you not even have the smell of blood?" But for Egyptians, someone who doesn't have blood is someone who's heartless.
Right.
So I'm assuming that would mean then
I gotcha. Okay. All right.
So should we talk about some strict countries, Jared?
Yeah, that was some fun untranslatables.
All right,
there.
let's do it. First, I want to talk about. I want to talk about some difficult countries every time. Some difficult countries to visit.
You know, you can change that.
Yeah, I'm aware. I'm aware.
Maybe you didn't, bro.
No, I changed it at first to have it turn
No
off
joke.
quicker.
The first thing I told Sydney when I got home is that I taught you how to take a picture.
Nice. Nice.
Oh god. Anyway, so what would you like to talk about?
Some of the hardest countries to actually get into as a tourist, because I think that has something to do with some of the strictest countries in the world.
Sure. Yeah.
So when you just think of this, though, Jared, what countries come to your mind?
I think the first thing about having the connection there, though, is that it's like a lot of the reasons it seems, or not a lot, but some of the reasons why it seems like some of these places might be strict is like, we don't want you messing it up almost, or like throwing it off, like almost like. So the first thing I would think would be like, what is it? Is it the Galapagos Islands? Is where there's like,
oh, interesting.
Where obviously that's a different kind of strict than what I assume they're talking about. But it's like where it's like they're super strict about who goes there
because of the ecosystem and the animals and the wildlife.
Like they're even they're like, all right, we don't wear those shoes. We'll give you some shoes that you can wear while you're there because we don't want you tracking in a whole bunch of stuff from outside.
Right, exactly.
And so that is something that I would think of. And so like you can go there, but obviously you have to follow a strict set of rules. But
I wouldn't say those are going to be the countries we'll be talking about today.
But then obviously there's ones that could be due to
political differences, you could say.
I would say political differences, maybe political like relations or international relations between countries. I could also say a lot of the countries are probably religious-based countries, you know? So a lot of strict rules on how they govern, probably usually how it turns out is strict rules on how they govern women. Is usually what that comes down to, or like maybe drinking alcohol or something like that.
Also public displays of affection.
Yes.
Certain places in in the Middle East, you won't want to be seen holding hands or hugging or kissing in public.
But then there's also places where then there's probably like levels of corruption too, where you have to be careful with where it's like there's certain places where it's just like, listen, if you want to have a smooth travel here, you will get accosted by the police, but all it takes is money, kind of thing. So where it's like those countries are kind of strict to go into, probably because of some sort of political relation. But then when you're there, you feel like safety feels limited. But it's a lot of it. I feel like feels like it can be remedied with money sometimes.
Right. Well, that's the interesting thing about some of these strictest countries is that, in theory, you would think they're much safer because there's less crime. But then the thing is, I mean, I don't know if you could say there's less crime, because if you do something and you're unaware of it, you could be committing a crime.
Right.
And you could be, punished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to you, you're committing a crime. I mean, that's rule number one. If you're going to another country, any country,
do your homework. Yeah. Do your homework for sure.
Like I've gotten in trouble for jaywalking in Germany or Austria.
Right.
And it's like that. I guess I should know, theoretically. I've heard it all the time. But it's just like, they're serious. And you don't think they're serious until, something actually happens to you.
Right.
And I ended up in prison for 2 weeks for jaywalking when I was in Austria.
I bailed Jared out. All my savings was worth it, though. All my savings.
But they warned me. They warned me.
Right. And so the big thing, too, I would say, is if you are a tourist, I'm not discouraging anyone to visit or not visit the countries we'll be talking about today, but also keep in mind, I think any country where you are a guest, I personally would not be speaking out politically or doing any of that stuff because I just don't think it's smart.
Even if you're in like a Western country, like if you were in, I don't know, France at a bar and they were talking about their politics, and you'd be like, oh, well, I don't.
Does it really bring you that much good though? What if you get in a big argument with them? I'm not saying you shouldn't speak your mind, but I think there's a time and a place.
I mean, I hear. I wouldn't want to have that conversation in general,
right?
But you wouldn't. But you're not. But that's not the point though, because you're not having that conversation because it brings you no enjoyment in a social setting,
right?
But you're not having that conversation because you're concerned about someone coming to, being accosted by police, being like, "What did you just say?"
Right.
Come with us. That's not your concern. In the U.S. or like a Western country,
I had a couple friends in China that they said a couple, not things about the Chinese government, but they said some political that could have been deemed as political things while they were teaching, and they were really worried for good reason. I had been told,
like, after the fact, they're like, "Should I have said that? Should I have said that?"
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
because I had been told in a job interview. Actually, I had interviewed with I forget the name of the school, but this was right after I graduated from TESOL, before I had gotten the Fulbright. And this place told me straight up. They said, are you comfortable teaching? But if your students ask you political questions, to just move on with the lesson. And I said, well, yeah, of course. I'm their English teacher. I'm not their political. I'm not their American politics teacher. And I don't know enough about. Politics even do that. Anyways,
it should be easy in a teacher setting to be like, I'm not the teacher for that.
Exactly. But and then they said, well, we have to tell you this because for some Westerners that come over here, they speak their mind very freely, and that they might say things that are just not acceptable topics over there to talk about, especially in front of a class with children, and then you can get locked up.
I run into that a lot with coworkers where I'm like, how are you guys so comfortable talking about politics?
What kind of stuff? Okay, I was about to say what to talk about.
Politics, and even stuff that like I generally agree with. It still makes me uncomfortable to hear them talk about it.
Right. Well, and there might always be someone sitting there that might disagree with it, and you don't know. Too.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the other danger. But yeah. So, anyways, some of the 10, or we won't talk about just 10, but some countries that are really difficult to get into. Before I had looked at this list and tried to do my homework, Jared. One thing that really crossed my mind was just all the hoops you have to jump through for a visa, right? Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of countries can be really, really difficult to get certain visas, especially depending on what you're a passport holder of.
And even just a visa, like just for like a 2-week visit.
It could, yeah.
Because like when I went to Tanzania, which was 2.5 weeks, something like that, I had to get a like a legit send my passport away for another piece of paper in it visa. Right. And to me that seemed, I was like, I'm gonna be there for 2 weeks. It seems like a lot to do. It's like, but that's not the only country that's like that. But I found that a little surprising.
Yeah, there are a lot of them. We are lucky as Americans that most European countries, have that Schengen agreement, and so we can at least stay there for 90 days. Without a visa. Like we have an automatic visa by our passport getting stamped at the border, right?
So that's just the tourist visa essentially,
right.
It's 90 days.
Right. Or like, for example, Indonesia is 30 days, but if you do what they call a visa on arrival, then you can extend it for another 30 days.
Gotcha.
So that's what I did, but thankfully I wasn't there for an entire month, so I didn't have to have to extend it again.
But I know you're going to be prepared.
Right. I try to be. But one place that came to my mind obviously was China. Because China is now, before the pandemic happened, I had seen they had a few different travel programs actually where you could stay, I think, for like 72 hours, which would be 3 days, and do something. And I think that's actually not a terrible idea for some people if you're already in Asia traveling. Because...
Do you need a visa just to visit China?
A tourist visa, yes.
So, like, even
Generally,
if I'm just going for like a week or two, I would need a visa.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you need a visa. You have to go to. I don't know how extensive the paperwork is for a tourist visa, but I know for a work visa, there's quite a few documents you have to have.
Sure, that makes sense.
And I would assume with the tourist visa, there's still quite a few.
But there's
documents.
still something you got to do. I can't just get a ticket and go.
Right. Exactly. And so China was one of them that came to my mind. Another one as well was. A lot of countries that were kind of former Soviet countries, a lot of those, you might need a visa to get in, or when you get in, you might be slightly monitored.
Say that
slightly monitored.
Slightly monitored.
Meaning like they don't have a ton of tourists. So you'll be surveilled. That's another way to say it.
I just imagine myself like in the Kremlin,
right?
And I just look behind me, and there's like a guy poking behind a building, and he's like.
Right.
Just following me. I'm driving. I'm like, it feels like this car's been behind
This
us for a long
BMW's
time.
made
They're pretty close behind us. Have you guys noticed this?
yeah. Well, but there's definitely quite a few countries where
Is that what it is, though? What is monitor? What do they mean by monitors?
they just make sure you're not doing anything out of line. I mean, there's plenty. If you visit North Korea, that's what
that
they
makes
do.
sense. I mean, but that's a little easier to. That's
another country I read about was is it Eritrea or Etria?
Eritrea.
Thank you. I think that's how you say it.
Uh-huh.
They also have some. They also have, like, if you go there, you can't take pictures of people. You especially can't take any photos.
You can't take pictures with locals, or you just can't
of
really
stuff there as
so
well.
really, you just shouldn't be taking pictures. Period.
Right.
Just to play it safe.
Exactly.
Because we imagine that anytime you're taking a picture, if someone like some sort of authority sees you, they're like, "Whoa, what's going on with the pictures, huh?"
Right. Exactly. And the thing is, once again, we talked about politics. And how do you say it again? Eritrea.
Eritrea. That's how I think you say it, though.
Okay.
That's not how I'm not saying that I have any.
Well,
more
if we have
authority
any
than you
listeners
do.
from here, let us know how to say it. But I think the thing is too is that this country is it's a single party political state, which once again I think when you have a lot of single party places, not that our system is perfect because we have a lot of problems here in America too, but
we have two, and that's not much better.
Right. But so it can be difficult. There is an entry visa, and also sometimes, and that's the tricky thing too about visas to places, Jared. Sometimes you get denied, and there's just no reason. Like they don't tell you why. You don't really ever know.
And then you just have to turn around, buy a ticket, and go back home.
I guess. Yeah.
Hold on. Eritrea.
There we go. Okay. Is that the British way to say it?
Eritrea. I don't know. That guy sounded American to me.
Did he? Okay.
Eritrea. Why he's gonna make fun of the guy now for?
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's how people mock Americans.
That's true. We are
kind of talk
nasally.
like this
Yeah.
when we're from America. Yeah. So, but yeah. Okay. So that was one of them. Let's go through. Here's a country I've never even heard of. I hate to say, Nauru. Nauru.
Is it a Polynesian country?
It's Pacific Island.
Yeah,
So-
I think that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Like,
There's only one flight per week to Nauru from Brisbane, Australia. Sorry. All foreign visitors must get a visa in advance, except for citizens of other Pacific nations, as well as citizens of Russia and Israel who can get a free visa upon arrival. So once again, that's the interesting thing about a lot of these countries.
there's no place I can drop the little guy on that island.
Oh, dang. Oh, wow.
There's nothing for me to see here,
I guess not, huh?
but I could do the satellite. I guess.
But islands are so great to visit.
Have you heard about? Do you know where this is? The guy, not this. The guy, he was a missionary and he wanted to visit.
That one island that
Where was it? Was it off the coast of Africa somewhere, or off the coast of South America somewhere? But he was a missionary. Here,
I forget the name of those people, but yeah, they threw arrows at him, right?
let's see if that's it. Missionary killed island.
Indian. Yep, John Allen Chow. That's it.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
so
it.
it's off the coast of India.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
Or
that's
no,
the
it's not off
guy.
the coast, but it's like
It's an Indian island.
Yeah, and it's like in the woods.
small boat pulled within
And so this
sight.
guy was trying to essentially convert people to his Christian religion, and they're in a place that there are
It's a
rules.
no contact island. Yeah.
Yeah, where they choose to live their own way, and they don't want other people coming in. And
I
this
think that's
guy-
fair, you
And,
know?
and he actually tried to go once, and they shot at him with arrows.
Yep.
And so
And
he
the
turned
Bible
around.
saved him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's why he went back.
Yep.
Because he thought.
Yep.
I mean, that's clearly
I'm
a
sure.
sign from God.
Of course it is. Of course.
But oh, dude, did the
Yeah.
Bible really save him?
That's what they said that he got.
You know, they're still preaching about that in church today. This guy's a
Probably.
freaking saint. Then
Probably.
the Bible saved him.
right. Well,
And-
no, but he died there later.
Well,
though,
no.
so-
Then I know. Then the next day, I think it was, he tried to go back again,
Right.
and then he just got
Right.
shot a lot.
So yeah, but obviously on the list, it's almost without say, North Korea.
That's the obvious choice.
Right,
Yeah.
North Korea.
And there are people that can go there.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are people that have gotten in trouble for trying to steal a souvenir from North Korea and they
Right.
get caught.
Bad idea. Just don't steal anything if you go to.
And it's like we know the stories of what happens if a local
Yep.
person steals something. Why do you think they?
Yeah, they're not going to
let
treat you
fly?
any better.
You're not Dennis
Yeah.
Rodman.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, unless you're. Yeah, this was an interesting one though. Turkmenistan.
I'm familiar with it.
I mean, I know where it is.
That is, whoa! That sculpture is something.
Amazing, isn't it? Yeah. So anyways, though, so decades of Saparmurat Niyazakov's rule left Turkmenistan with street cities, months of the year, and even meteorites named after himself. So the leader of the Turkmen. Blah, blah, okay.
So a lot of these countries that do have like roots in the Soviet Union don't have a good. You probably don't have a great relationship with the U.S.
Right. Well, I think it's just that they don't have a ton of tourists. Like it's not a big tourism isn't a big industry there.
Okay.
Like when I went to Mongolia, like it seems like tourism is not really a thing over there that much either. Like they have hotels and stuff, but it doesn't seem.
And if
like
it's not big in Mongolia, then it's probably definitely not big in Turkmenistan.
Right. Exactly.
Because that's not a place that's coming to my mind.
Right. But if you are thinking about getting there, you do need to get a visa, which you have to hire a local tour company. So a lot of visas for a lot of these countries, you have to do that. Even with Russia, I know because I've looked into getting a visa to go there. You have to get some type of invitation letter from either a hotel or a business or something.
And it seems like you kind of have to have some sort of like driver or some sort of like what do you call it, like someone that's sort of not
a guide
a guide, not someone that's like following you or like spying on you, like, but someone that's like your sort of your representative while you're there almost.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
your sponsor.
The sponsor?
Your sponsor, you could call it that.
So is that see that? So if anything does go, if you do anything wrong, it's on them.
I mean, well, it's not on them, but they're kind of responsible to keep you in line.
What was that giant hole of burning fire that I saw?
That's in Turkmenistan. They call that the gates of hell.
I wonder why. That looks like it. Is that a volcanic thing or something?
Yeah, natural gas craters.
Jeez, that's terrifying.
And it looks like a fire. Yeah, it looks like the gates of hell.
Yeah, imagine what the gates of hell looks like. That's
it looks like that. Yeah. Next one is Iran. Visa applications take a long time to be processed. I've heard that can be the case for quite a few different countries in the Middle East. From an Egyptian buddy of mine, like because I was asking him as an American, is it difficult? Mm-hmm. You know, for him as an Egyptian, it's not as difficult. But he was saying for me as an American, what they will say sometimes if you go to get your visa is they'll say Inshallah. Like, you know, God willing, we'll get this done for you, and it might take a while.
We'll get to it when we get to it.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that was before a pandemic happened.
Sure, of course. So,
So that's kind of.
So why is it that?
Mm-hmm.
So wait. So he said it was easy for him as an Egyptian to come here to the U.S.
No, to different Middle Eastern countries.
Okay.
Depending. Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense though. That there would be some challenges with a lot of Middle Eastern countries because we don't have a great relationship.
We don't,
with a lot
unfortunately. But see, that's the shame though. Is I think if more people could travel between these countries, we would have a better understanding of them and of each other. I know that sounds very hippy dippy, but it's true.
Well, I mean, that's of course,
it's really true.
Like back in the day, like there were a lot of Middle Eastern countries that used to be like the hot spot. Like Baghdad, I feel like was that one of the cities that like I feel like back in the day used to be like kind of a hip city,
right?
But times change,
right? And the thing with Iran as well is it says here that entry restrictions may apply to American, Canadian, British citizens, and entry is denied. This doesn't surprise me to Israeli citizens and travelers whose passports may contain any indication or connection or travel to Israel. Now, I've been told, too, by a couple Russian friends of mine that depending on what places you have in your passport, it might influence getting Russian visas. I could be wrong about that.
I didn't even think about that. I could see
sense.
that. I could 100% see that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And I've definitely heard of the Israel one, where you know if you go to a lot of those sort of Middle Eastern countries there, if you have certain countries in your passport, that's a hard no. I think there's some of that happening in certain African countries too, where there's some turmoil.
So you have to be careful. Now, my question is, so I just got a new passport, so mine's fresh. So I'm wondering,
where do you go first?
Well, I'm wondering, will it show like when they swipe your passport?
I would argue that a lot of these places
don't care enough.
Probably don't have like quick technology that could do that. So maybe they do have a database somewhere. I'm saying if you're driving and it's like some sort of like checkpoint kind of thing.
Oh yeah, they probably just look at it. And
I'm sure if you're maybe at an office and they, but I just don't. I feel like if you're out in the world, like just your average person checking you doesn't have access to that deep of information.
Probably not. Yeah, probably not. You're right.
If they really wanted it, I'm sure they could find it.
Let's talk about some other countries. Once again, another Middle Eastern country, Saudi Arabia. And I've been told that a friend of mine used to work there, and she said that when she arrived there, they actually held on to her passport.
I've heard of that too. That would make me very uncomfortable.
Yep. Well, I didn't have my passport for over a month and a half while I was in China.
Yeah,
it was
at least
being
there was the
processed.
thought that you would be getting it back at some point. Though,
I was really hoping I would,
So,
but that's the thing, dude. I literally gave my passport to a student assistant that then gave it to. You know what I mean? Like it.
Right.
I mean, it's
that's a lot of trust, right?
Yeah,
there.
it
That's
is.
a lot of trust.
It is.
In Saudi Arabia, is that a country where you have to cover up if you're a woman?
Yes.
So did she?
Yes.
She had to do that too, then.
Yes, she did. Yeah.
Okay.
And my friend, she was a teacher there. She had to wear the.
I feel like that's
thing.
really hard to adjust for someone that's not used to that,
Right.
Especially in that Saudi Arabian heat, bro.
Right.
Man.
But I think at the same time, I think the coverings help a little bit with the heat.
People say that.
Don't
I
they?
guess so.
Because
Maybe.
it's probably not a thick material, right? It's got to
Sure.
be. Because I feel like people would be fainting in the heat all the time. Otherwise,
if
right?
it was just beating down.
Yeah, like if it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would imagine it's probably. I don't know. But anyways, yeah. So Saudi
we have
Arabia,
no idea what we're talking about.
Right, we really don't. But yeah, all right. Another one, yeah, Belarus. So
I don't know much about Belarus. Belarus is in Europe, right?
well, yes. And some people, I'm not sure if this is true. I have a Belarusian buddy. I'll have to ask him.
Belarusian.
He's in China right now, but he was telling me that Belarus is very different than a lot of Europe. And according to this website, which is arrivalguides.com, they say that Belarus has been dubbed Europe's last dictatorship, and they have had the same
Oh,
same
geez.
president for I think like 20 years. Or no, he's been in power, I think, since 93.
Seems like there's a lot of protest happening right now in Belarus.
So right here, has recently introduced simplified entry to foreign visitors. Those who enter and depart through the Minsk National Airport do not require a visa to stay in the country for up to 30 days.
26 years.
Okay, there you go. See?
Alexander Lukashenko.
Yep. But yeah, so if you want to stay longer than 30 days and you are not a national of Azerbaijan, Armenia, Georgia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Moldova, Russia, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and Ukraine, you will need to apply for a long-term visa in advance. Requirements for a long-term visa remain stringent and call for significant amounts of paperwork. That's the key with all these places, Jared. I think
Paperwork.
Yes.
So
paperwork.
So is a place like Belarus? Is it like a?
Look at it though. It looks beautiful.
It is beautiful. Yeah. It's in the mountains too?
I think there are some
It
mountains.
looks like there's mountains in the background.
Right.
The thing about about Belarus is it's dangerous if you don't like fall in line. It can get dangerous.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Well, because the last European dictatorship, I've never heard of that before. I
Right.
did not know that.
Right. This is an interesting one. Bhutan.
Okay.
And I think for a lot of Americans, Bhutan is not really on their radar, but it is in the Himalayas. But the interesting thing about Bhutan is that you do need a visa and you have to have a travel operator. So once again, we've kind of talked about. Now, I'm not sure though how like strict different travel operators, travel guides, sponsor, whatever you want to call them, are in different countries. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
for some reason, I usually just think about them as drivers almost.
Right.
Whenever I hear that sort of guide thing, where it's like they're taking you all over the place, and then once you get to wherever you're going,
I mean, that is their job, I think, to take you places.
right.
Yeah.
Maybe they just like they're not like on your back checking
Right.
over you. I imagine.
Right.
So, how do you feel about first? How do you feel? Have you noticed recently that our president? It always comes back to our president, doesn't it? That he randomly every now and again will just tweet out Law and Order exclamation
No,
point.
I don't follow him on Twitter.
I don't follow him on Twitter either, but I somehow I can't avoid it.
Okay.
Every now and again, like maybe
You're
once
on the
a week,
Twitter sphere more than I am.
maybe once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, he'll just tweet out "Law and Order!" exclamation point.
Oh, jeez. I feel like that's what a lot of these very strict places
That's what I'm
strive
saying.
to be. Yeah.
But I feel like Americans, especially Americans that support him, would never consider like America anywhere close to on some of these strictest
Right.
country lists. But it's I find that so eerie. That sort of just like Law and Order.
This is the weird thing about the U.S., though, Jared. If to all of our listeners out there who are an American and you're thinking of visiting one day, really think carefully which state you choose, because I think that really will change your trip a lot. Because we do have some conservative states out there that I think are definitely a little bit stricter than others. Certain laws. And depending on what type of vacation you're looking for, other states can offer different things.
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
What do you think? What when we're talking about strictest countries, we're talking about in my head what you're allowed to do, and then the punishment that would happen if you did that thing. So obviously, all of this is a scale. Every country you can and can't do things.
Sure.
What are some freedoms or rights that you think you would prioritize?
Well, I mean, it is nice to be able to have an alcoholic beverage once in a while.
Yeah, it's so funny that didn't even cross my mind, but that is something that is not allowed.
Go somewhere. Go somewhere that's completely dry. A lot of Middle Eastern countries are completely dry, and I think in the UAE, you have to United Arab Emirates. You have to. I think if you want to drink, you need some type of like ID or card or something, like a permit.
Yeah, but see, then you're going to be... Yeah, but then that's not fun.
Right.
You can't be the only one.
Right.
It's like, no, but I have a permit.
You're probably not the only one, but yeah.
But then, it's probably like something that just rich people can get or something.
Right.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, probably. And they have like parties, and they somehow manage to get booze at their parties. Is usually how all of this works. Is just the people with money
definitely
can do whatever they want.
How this stuff works. Yeah, without a doubt.
For me, that's an obvious one. Drinking. That's not an obvious one, but that's a good one.
I mean, even just like a beer with your pizza for dinner. It's not even like.
And I would say, kind of along that line, the freedom to. I'm not even a fan of public displays of affection. But I definitely don't like the fear that if I were to like get a little too handsy, it could get dangerous. So I like that one too. So like the freedom, honestly.
You mean just like being able to hold your partner's hand?
See, yeah. But I kind of don't mind. Now, there's obviously a line here.
Well, sure.
But like, where's the line where
shouldn't
it's
be doing it in the streets? But a kiss on the cheek,
but like, do you have a problem with like someone walking down the street without a shirt on?
I don't really care either way, but
I mean, I don't either. But I'm saying there's obviously there is a line, is what I'm saying.
Right.
And I feel like that line could go feel like there's more space, is what I'm saying.
Right. I think just like your basic holding hands if you want to have a drink outside, or even if you, not that it's very healthy, but if you are a cigarette smoker, if you want to like have a smoke outside, some places that they prohibit smoking, that's their choice. But I feel like if, I don't know, maybe it's me being an American, if you want to smoke, if you really want to do that, I'm not going to stop you, and you should be able to have that freedom.
Now here's one that's not important to me. The freedom to own guns, that's not important to me. That concept,
not trying to walk around different countries just strapped.
I don't feel like I don't feel like I'd be missing out on anything if I were to move to other countries that have various freedoms except for gun ownership.
Right. One that I do think is a nice luxury to have when you travel is just being able to take pictures of whatever you want.
Yep.
Because you are a tourist in a country to experience the country for how it is, regardless of how rich, poor, clean, dirty, beautiful, ugly a place is. You're there, and you should be able to capture it how it is.
Yeah.
So some of these countries that don't allow you to take pictures because it displays the country in a negative light. It's like, well, then maybe you shouldn't be a negative country.
Yeah, maybe you should. Yeah, how about you fight at the root, not someone showing the issue. Right. Yeah, there's a bigger issue than me taking a picture of it. Maybe charge your tourists a little bit more money that come visit, and you can use some of that revenue to help clean your place up. I don't know. But there's, I think being able to take pictures when you travel is a really nice luxury. And I will say,
my entire time in China, I never felt uneasy taking pictures and stuff. But I do have a few friends that occasionally would make videos and stuff. And they said, like, if they had, like, a camera like we do right there and then they were talking into it, sometimes, like, people would kind of, like, look at it.
Well, see, that's a little different because then it starts getting into more like you're almost some sort of broadcaster.
Right,
Like,
or
that
a
almost puts some
reporter.
sort of validity
Different
into what you're
stigma,
saying.
right.
Yeah, and it's like, are they like a reporter talking about us or something? You know, another reason why I find it weird that sort of this freedom country that we live in is not really as
as free as we think.
Yeah, and it is strict. The death penalty.
Oh, yeah.
I would say that as far as punishments go, I mean, there are a lot of countries, obviously, that are. I wrote down some punishments that just came to my head. Caning, that's one that still happens, and I know in
Saudi
countries like
Arabia, I'm pretty
Singapore.
sure. Oh, Singapore, okay.
But there's more than one. I saw a list, and there was more than one. That's one that is a little strict, where it's like it's not only what are you allowed and not allowed to do. It's like if I do the wrong thing, what are you going to do to me? Is it like some sort of fine that you give me, or are you going to beat me with a stick?
I feel like as a tourist, you ought to at least give them like a mulligan. You know what I mean?
I mean, it
like,
depends on what they're doing. I don't
that's
know.
true.
Stealing
really
is
bad.
universally a bad thing.
Well,
so
that's
it's not
true.
like if someone does that, it's not like you didn't know that was going to be bad. You can't do that where you come from.
Right. Yeah, that's not what I meant. What I meant is like I read
If
somewhere,
they like I don't know, if they do something simple.
I read somewhere, I forget which country it was, but
Singapore,
I read somewhere
I think is what you're about to say.
that someone went into the wrong bathroom. And it was in a country where they didn't speak the same language, and it was a country in Asia that had characters.
Right.
And they walked into the wrong bathroom, and they were like in jail for like a week.
Damn.
Can you imagine that? You go visit a country, and you walk into the wrong bathroom. Well, I guess
if you're looking to get a cultural immersion in a different country,
yeah, how did you become fluent in that language? Well, I was in prison for a week.
it was either that or die.
Right.
So
Exactly. Oh, man.
another one, and this is I don't know if it's a uniquely American, but as far as Western countries go, I'd say it's uniquely American. Life in prison.
Oh, yeah.
That's sort of a uniquely American and sort of a torturous thing to do to a person. Because I feel like there are a lot of European countries I know that like there's not really
I don't think they have a life sentence.
Exactly.
Yet.
Like,
even if you kill someone,
maybe the most might be 25 or 40 or something like that. But there's no such thing as life in prison. And that kind of goes along with the death penalty as well,
right?
Where it's like I don't know about I know as far as Western countries go, we're one of the few probably Western countries that does a death penalty or life in prison. And then another one that came to my head, stoning. It's completely different.
Oh, yep.
That seems like a terrible way to go. Have you seen Kite Runner? That movie? Yeah, someone gets stoned in there, and it is rough to watch.
Yeah, I think
that's very like biblical. It
I think
like.
any of these like corporal punishment type of
it's very biblical
things are they're terrifying.
Yeah, the idea that beating someone. I mean, I guess I don't want to say it works because it works.
It doesn't work.
It's a fear tactic,
right? That's all it really does. Is
Yeah,
it instills fear in you. It doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that the places that have these types of laws, I would definitely.
Job. Who wants to be the town beater?
Right. Well, probably a sick individual, or you become sick because of the job.
There's no way. There's no way.
You can't stay mentally healthy.
A person can be mentally stable and just constantly doing that.
Right. But the thing is, with a lot of these places, I would definitely really do my homework before going. And I hate to say this, but I personally would probably think twice about some of these places. Like,
what's the line for you? Is the line like
just the if it's
like
if it's
like
probable,
what about Singapore? Singapore's from what I've heard, a beautiful country, but they're
like,
super strict.
For example, if it's really probable that even if you didn't do anything wrong, but they say you do something wrong, if it's really probable that you're either going to have to pay a huge fine or spend jail time, I might
or get beat with a stick.
Right, I might not consider traveling to that place. Okay. You know,
that's fair.
Like plus, like for example, I remember when I was in Bali, I went to a barbershop and got a haircut. Mm-hmm. And the guy was talking to me. He said, "Oh, where are you from?" I told him Michigan, and we're talking, and then he asked me, "Oh, do you guys have medical marijuana in Michigan?" And I told him, "Yeah, that's a thing here in Michigan. It's in quite a few different states." Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he was trying to sell me something or what, but
was that his end to be like, "Do you want some?"
But basically, I had read that in Bali, Bali is known as like a party island, but you have to be really careful because they have really strict laws if you do drugs there. And so I was just like, oh no, like I don't even want to talk about this because like I've heard, I've seen like on TV too, like Locked Up Abroad.
You don't even want it to look like you were considering it,
right? Exactly, and I wasn't.
No, I know, but you don't even want them to look like I'm not even entertaining this conversation.
Exactly, but that's the thing though, is you really have to do your homework and I was offered a few times when I was walking up and down the street in Bali too. I was like looking for a restaurant.
It's odd that the risk is so high, yet they're so cavalier with it.
Right. Yeah.
Because we've seen places like in Berlin,
but that's how they get you. I think
in
that's
Berlin
how you need to
they're
be careful.
pretty chill with it too about asking, but the risk is pretty low. Like obviously you can get arrested, but you're not going to be beaten or you're not going to be.
Or you're not going to be in a jail that has these terrible conditions.
Exactly. So it's just surprising to see that they're so cavalier with it.
Yeah, it's really crazy. So yeah, do your homework before you visit these places.
Yeah,
it's really really important to do your homework.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's all I have actually. I that's all I have.
So I just want to end today's episode then with a couple tips just for people. Obviously, I've been saying do your homework, but I think I should be a bit more specific.
Yeah, because you're always looking for before you go to any country, you're always concerned about the about risk,
right?
And trying to figure out the risk. Where do you go to figure out what your risk is?
Well, first of all, I guess I try to look and see. I guess the first thing is just your local consulate or something like that. Usually the U.S. consulate has really good information about if there's, warning about, hey, people have been, like I got an alert actually from the consulate in China saying, just so you're aware, people in a certain country that starts with H and ends with K have been detained because they've said, certain things, and so you get warnings.
The reason you said it the reason you say it like that is because that's how the consulate would say it.
No, the consulate explicitly.
Oh, would they say? I didn't know if maybe they would try to be sort of cheeky about it.
No. They were pretty. No, they were pretty upfront.
But they're not I guess they're not governed by the Chinese. But I didn't know if they were trying to be a little
right. But when you get stuff like that, that's I guess I would say enroll in some type of safe travel program.
Sure, and I'm sure there's some sort of color-coded map or something somewhere that shows you like a red to green on how safe it is to go or something.
Exactly. Well, the U.S. system, I think they do it by numbers, 1 through 4.
Okay, there you go, a number system.
Yeah, but either way, names or numbers, it doesn't really matter. Try to find some type of... But I would say look at a couple different sources as well, because if you only look, for example, I feel like American sources can be very biased on certain things.
Well, how so? Oh, you think we might be a little overly nervous about certain countries or something like that?
Yeah,
and
sometimes it's for good reason. Sometimes it's definitely for good reason.
We really have to finish this up, don't we?
But otherwise, it's you just need to be aware. Because you can get very biased information, and sometimes there's a grain of truth to it, but it's always good as well. I would really suggest.
But I will say the good thing about the biased information, the good thing is I think most times it's erring on overcaution. Is they're telling you something?
Yes.
So at least they're not. I feel like in these situations they're never going to be like, it's fine.
Right.
It's usually going to be like, It's usually going to be like it's way worse than it probably actually is.
Correct.
Is what they're telling you. So if anything, you're still being safe, I guess.
Right.
Rather than just being like, it's fine. Go ahead.
Right. But the key
don't wear a
here
shirt too. They love it there.
The key though is I would talk to someone who's been there or has gone there recently.
If you can, yeah, for sure.
Right. Because that really will tell you like. Me being able to talk to some of my fellow friends about like the Chinese visa process really helped.
I'm sure
everything.
That's a very popular or a very common process for people like you in your sort of line of work to find people that have been in other countries and swap stories.
Right. Oh yeah, it's really important. And you also then I always try to go into a country being aware of what can I do that might offend someone that I wouldn't normally think of, right?
Yeah.
Like taking your shoes off. If you go to Japan, you should make sure you take your shoes off before you enter someone's home, or like right when you enter, whatever it is. You don't walk around with your shoes on. That's just one example. But be aware of these small cultural things, because in some countries, like if you're holding hands with someone, if for some odd reason I haven't seen Jared in a while, I give him a hug and we reunite in the UAE, you and I might be facing some jail
time. The
time.
funny thing is, well, not funny. It's not funny at all. But actually, that's not really the case. Like, men often hold hands in those countries.
Do they really? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's with the opposite sex.
I think it's an
when
opposite
deemed.
sex thing. Yeah.
I see.
Or like they do like the thing where they like do the pinky thing. You've never heard of that?
I have heard of that.
Yeah. Then I think it is more of an opposite sex thing.
Okay.
So we
that's fair.
can do that.
Okay. Good.
Don't worry.
Good to know. Okay. Good to know. But yeah. So I think it's really important to just be aware. Enroll in whatever program your country or consulate has.
Yeah.
Talk to a friend who's been there. Educate yourself about some of the cultural subtleties of things as well. What are kind of the do's and the don'ts. I don't know if we've ever done an episode of do's and don'ts, but that might be a fun one to consider. We'll have to play with that idea a little bit. I'm going to text you that right now because I'll forget it otherwise. I got it. Okay, do's and don'ts. But yeah. So let us know, though, some of the strictest countries you have visited at untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. We'd be curious to hear about how you've navigated those interesting cultural waters, to put it that way. So let us know. You can check us out on Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast. Slide into our DMs on Twitter, Untranslatable1, the number 1. And lastly, please, 5-star reviews on iTunes and Stitcher. Let us know how we can make this podcast better for you. So as we say here at the Untranslatable Podcast, Dziękujemy, muchas gracias, shusha, and do svidania. Yeah, sorry, I was losing focus with this Champions League.
I don't blame you at all.
Bayern had a couple chances already, it seemed like.
No, this is good timing. We're only 4 minutes in.